order. I think that was a very helpful intervention from the Minister. Mr. Kenneth.
What do you do with it?
Oh, I don't know. Yes, sir, right.
Mr. Speaker, you may recall on the 17th of April last year, I was fortunate enough to have a German debate on the finances of the Mersey tunnels. I have here in front of me a letter which is dated yesterday to Councillor Ingham, the chair of the Merseyside Passenger Transport Authority, in which the Secretary of State has effectively ruled out any solution to the problems of the financing of the Mersey Tunnel. My point of order, Mr. Speaker, is simply this. In view of the fact that myself and other honourable friends have raised this issue in the House, is it not wrong that the Secretary of State shouldn't have responded to the House rather than in a letter, which we've not had no opportunity for parliamentary scrutiny of?
Your Honourable Order. I have to tell the Honourable Gentleman with deep regret that I don't immediately remember his debate last year. But order. I suggest he puts a question down and then perhaps you'll get an answer for it. Well, it's going to take up time out of a very important debate. Mr. Bennett.
Mr. Speaker, I wonder if I could ask for your advice before the debate on South Africa begins. Can I refer you to page 94 of a book called How to be a Minister by the Right Honourable Gentleman Member for Manchester Gorton? In which he says, do not waste your good lines. Do you have any?
Order. Look, it's not a parliamentary book. An order. Order. I'd be very interested to read it, and perhaps the honourable gentleman would allow me to do so. But may I say to him and to the whole House that if it were possible for me to impose a 10-minute limit on speeches, order, on this coming debate on South Africa, I would do so. Indeed, if it were possible to impose a 5-minute limit on speeches, then even then I don't think I'd be able to get all the members in. But points of order are going to take time out of it.
On a point of order, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I don't think it matters whether it takes up time. The liberties of this House are much more important than any debate. Yesterday afternoon, we had a particularly, to quote you, sir, we had a particularly disagreeable exchange in which the Right Honourable Gentleman for Manchester Gorton made an accusation that was absolutely discreditable and disgraceful, and he was allowed to get away with it. But the point of my point of order, Mr. Speaker, is this, that we had a build-up then in a kind of pressure cooker sense, because there was a very real sense of outrage by my right honourable and honourable friends at what was said over that side. And is it not time for you, Mr. Speaker, to look at again when we raise points of order? The idea now that points of order have to rate, however long the number of statements are, leads to more trouble, not less. And should points of order, like any punishment or design, come immediately after the offence, not having to wait for hour, sometimes after hour. And I ask you, sir, on a most genuine point of order, would you look at this matter again? That points of order are raised before statements and immediately after question time is settled.
Order. I've been frequently asked to look at this matter, and the honourable gentleman will recollect that I've made numerous rulings on this matter. The proper time to raise proper points of order are immediately after private notice questions or statements, and that is exactly what happened yesterday. Order. If a matter needs the immediate attention of the chair at the time, then it's raised as a point of order. May I say, as regards yesterday, we cannot go back over that, but this, I didn't hear it at the time. It was order. Well, the honourable gentleman may have done, but of course it's in Hansard, because it was subsequently referred to. But I'm saying to the House, I did not hear it. However, I have now had an opportunity, of course, of not only listening to it on the radio, but seeing it on television. And I have to say that the remark appears to be, on that media, somewhat magnified to what it was actually in the chamber. However, we can't go back on it. Order. Well, may I say to the House that it was said from a sedentary position. As such, it was not an unparliamentary expression, but it was certainly an offensive comment to make. And and it may well be It may well be that we'll have an opportunity today to put that right. Mr. Skinner.
Mr. Speaker, I think many of us on this side at least would want to go along with your ruling about the remark being unparliamentary. The remark itself was very opportune, and most of us...
A debate on that. No, well, the honourable gentleman's always very helpful, and of course he's a lot of experience in dealing with... well, it's not a point of order. The honourable gentleman's prefaced it in that way. I'll hear him in a minute. Dame Elaine Kellett-Bowman.
Friend's point of order. May I point out that the Prime Minister's observation was not unparliamentary, but she had to withdraw it.
Well, order. If the House will recollect and look at what I said in Hansard, I said, and I didn't hear that either, if the Prime Minister has made an unparliamentary allegation, I'm sure she will wish to withdraw it. And she did so wish to withdraw it. And that's exactly what happened. Yes.
You referred a moment ago, sir, to restricting speeches to 5 or 10 minutes. Many of us on the backbenchers do not think the quality of debate would be improved by a restriction of either 5 or 10 minutes, except perhaps in my own case.
Yes, well, I don't... Allow me to deal with it. I subscribe to that view myself. I think it's a pity that one has to do this because I'm a believer in personal restraint. And if honourable members could limit their speeches to something like 10 minutes, as I hope they will today, then I think we'd all be much better off. I'll take Mr. Wilshire.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday you very rightly followed precedent by saying that remarks made from a sedentary position you hadn't heard and you couldn't pursue. But you equally yesterday were saying that we should have regard to the fact that the television cameras are now here. You yourself this afternoon have said that on reflection, having taken advantage of the cameras and the programmes this morning, have now heard something that you didn't hear yesterday. Is there therefore not a case for you to reconsider precedent and when you find something offensive to require it to be withdrawn the following day?
Order. It's not order. It's not for the chair to require offensive remarks. Very frequently, offensive remarks are made in this House. The role of the chair is to ensure that unparliamentary expressions are not used here. It's up to the honourable gentleman concerned, and maybe today we shall hear something from him on it. Now, I'll take a point of order from Mr. Harry Greenway.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You said a few moments ago, Mr. Speaker, that it would not be possible to go over an incident that has occurred in this House a little while ago. Did you mean that? Surely we constantly go over matters...
Order. I did mean it. Order. Mr. Is it a different matter?
Brief and slightly different matter, Mr. Speaker.
Slightly different matter. All right.
Slightly different. It is now in the public domain, as we all warily know, Mr. Speaker, that the Right Honourable Gentleman, the member for Manchester Gorton, said yesterday, and he's a man who chooses his words very carefully, he said yesterday that the Prime Minister should have done 27 years of time. Now, for him to say that,
Order. I'm not certain. Order. I'm not certain this is going to add to the quality of our discussions in this House. What is the point of order for me?
the point of order for you, Mr. Speaker, is that if the Right Honourable Gentleman has evidence for that remark, then perhaps he should bring it before the House. If not, then like any other member, he ought to do the decent thing and withdraw.
Order. Perhaps he will. Now I'll take Mr. Skinner.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, in order to clear the matter up, what would help, I think, is to use the words by my honourable friend, the member for Gorton, to put them in the form of a motion. There were so many Tory wets laughing yesterday, we just might carry it.
Presentation of bills. Mr. Kenneth Hine.
Control of amusement arcades bill.
Second reading what day?
Friday the 9th of March.
Friday the 9th of March. 10-minute rule motion.